Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the dis and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, live on www.letgoradio.net and on Facebook Live, where I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it.
What's up, everybody out there in Facebook land? It is that time again. It's Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It's time for My CP Does Not Define Me, episode number 40. Good gracious, I can't believe I've done 40 episodes already. It's crazy. All right, well, happy Wednesday to everybody as you come in. I'm glad to see everybody, and thank you guys for joining. So as you come in, we'll get your comments up. Hey, Josh. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. I have a very, very special guest today. We've actually had this coming up for a while now. She's been wanting to be on my show for a while, and we finally got it done. I'd like to welcome Miss Lena Avalos to the show. How are you, Lena?
I'm doing fine. Real good.
Good. Glad to have you here today. I want to say welcome to the show, and as everybody comes in, would you do me a favor and just tell us about yourself, tell us, where you're from, that kind of thing, and tell us about your disability and how it affects you, if you would, please.
Okay. Well, my name is Lena Avalos, and I was born and raised in California, and I now reside in the Pacific Northwest. And I have spastic CP, and it affects my lower half of my body and a little bit of at the top half.
Okay. All right. So you used to live in California, you said?
Yes.
Now, I hear a lot about California. What was it like living in California?
Oh, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't rain as much as it does here, and that's what I like, but this is home too.
Mm-hmm. So now, were you in California when you were smaller, or?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yes.
How long did you live in California?
Till the age of 15.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you were in California quite a while. I mean, what would you say that there was two time differences, because there's a time difference, I think, in California and where you are now, because you're on the Pacific Northwest, right?
No, we're actually the same time zone as California.
Okay.
Pacific time.
Mm-hmm. So what? You're 3 hours behind me?
Yes, I am.
Whew. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I could get used to a 3 hour time difference, man.
I know, it's so hard.
Goodness gracious. I have enough trouble with the time I've got now.
I know, me too.
So let's see. I want to know, I guess my first question for you is, because I've known you for quite a while. We've known each other through, the CP group and everything like that. Uh-huh. With cerebral palsy, you're in a power chair all the time, right? So
Yes, I am. Okay. I'm not able to walk. No.
Okay. Can you walk at all? Are you able to? Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
The only thing I can do is enough strength to transfer on and off the toilet.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to ask you. A lot of people with cerebral palsy can do what they call weight bearing, where they can put just enough weight on their legs to help transfer on and off. So that's right. kind of where I was going. When you were growing up, how did cerebral palsy affect you growing up when you were little?
Well, I would say it's affected me quite a bit because I needed a lot of care.
Mm-hmm.
Back then my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she was there to take care of me. And my brother went to school, and after school, if my mom had something to do, my brother would take over,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So what was it like? Now, were your how many brothers and sisters did you have? Was it just your brother?
I just had the one brother, yeah. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
my younger brother died years ago,
Okay.
so I didn't.
What was it like growing up with a younger sibling?
Well, actually, he's older.
Okay, so he was
Yeah,
older than you.
he
Mm-hmm.
was older, and it wasn't bad. He actually took good care of me and watched my mom through the years of how to do things with me. It was good. It was really close to my brother, actually.
I was too. We had like a 6 year age difference.
Hmm.
6.5 years older than me. Um, I think when I was smaller, we couldn't really relate. Because he was so much older than me.
Oh
It
yeah.
it, it took a while to come into the whole the closeness of the relationship. But once I had about hit about 15, 16, that's when we kind of started connecting, and that's when the age gap kind of went down a little bit, even though it was
Uh-huh.
still there. We were able to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, my brother Michael was 2 years older than me.
So y'all
Yeah.
didn't have quite the same age gap, but you did have a little bit of a.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I mean, were you guys able to talk a lot, share things, that kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely. Yeah.
good deal.
We had to do a lot of that because of wanting to know what's best for me and my care and all that.
Okay. Well, actually, Nikki has a question. Nikki asked, "What is your favorite thing to do, Lena?"
What is my favorite thing to do? My favorite thing to do is doing jigsaw puzzles online. I love to do those.
Are those like the fill-in puzzles? Are they just the word puzzles, or
No, it's actually a jigsaw puzzle you put together.
those? Oh wow! Now those
Yes.
things, I I I I used to love to watch. With jigsaw puzzles, man, I couldn't. It was they're just so small pieces, and I couldn't do it. Do you have a favorite like type of jigsaw puzzle that you do? Do you have like animals or scenery or?
Oh, just anything that I choose, that this particular site has, I just pick one and just do it. It's something my mom and I always used to do together,
Yeah,
and now that she's resting, I want to carry on the tradition.
yeah, I understand that. That is definite. My mom liked crossword puzzles, but it was more the puzzles she did those.
Uh-huh.
I actually knew people that could do them upside down, and that was like something that I had never seen before.
Yeah, I'm not really good at those. I love to do word searches. Oh, I love to do those.
Mhm.
I'm good at those. So.
Oh man, I tell you, that's awesome. I actually like I said, the word searches, some of the word searches, and I've always wanted to get into Sudoku, but I can't ever figure.
Yeah, I can't either. My brain doesn't comprehend that.
Oh wow. Kimberly said, "I'm doing the human jigsaw puzzles made out of wood." Those are I've actually heard a lot about those. There used to be back in the I want to say I guess about probably 10 years ago now.
Uh-huh.
There used to be these you pop out the pieces, and they were wooden pieces of like dinosaurs, and
Oh, okay.
you put them together and paint them. You could paint the pieces if you wanted to, and put them together like the models. So that's kind of cool.
Aren't those the kind that we did when we were a child, like back in therapy or something?
I don't know if they, because these were pretty detailed. These were like probably 100 to 125 pieces.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so they were pretty big. So speaking of therapy in school, now let's talk a little bit about, and as you grew up, what was school like for you with cerebral palsy?
Well, school for me was actually I was my own alarm clock. There was no hesitation at getting me up. I was awake, and I knew what I wanted to wear, and my mom said, "Okay, if that's what you want to wear," and I had the bus come by and pick me up every day, early in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and it was good. My school days was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So you, I mean, did you have a lot of friends in school? What was your favorite subject?
my favorite subject was uh spelling.
Okay. All
I
right.
like I like to spell.
Was
Yeah.
it a were there any differences in school that you think maybe kind of took you by surprise? How were people towards you? How were your peers towards you in school?
Well, at first, as you may know, everybody kind of looked at me like, "What's wrong with you?"
Mm-hmm.
And I just right away just nicely told them, "I'm just like you. I just needed to use a wheelchair."
Mm-hmm.
And they saw that and said, "Oh, okay, I see."
Now, Endora just joined us, and she said that Lena, you were the first person with a wheelchair in our school. So it was new for them. Did a lot of people want to come up and see it and check it out and that kind of thing?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So how did you and Endora meet? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, and Joe and I met um in high school
Mm-hmm.
in our current world problems class,
Okay.
and we would always um uh go places and be each other's cheerleader, make sure we had our lessons done and whatever, and we just became good friends. And then after high school, for many years, we just lost touch because of, life in itself. And then recently, we just reconnected and got back in touch, and we talk almost every day, and she's great. It's like she never left.
Mm-hmm. How did you guys reconnect?
Well, just on Facebook. And then the next thing I know was she came over to my place and hung out for a while, and we had a good time.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean with the friend that never left. It's kind of like you just fit. It's the person that you just fit with. I can remember friends in high school that just I guess it was kind of weird because I never really thought about my high school friends leaving. My friends were always it took me a while to get used to this is it. I remember my senior year hit me kind of hard because I was like, man, what am I going to do now? I've been getting up early all this time. The
Hmm.
no alarm clock thing, I couldn't do that. I had to have an alarm
Yeah.
clock. I definitely had to have an alarm clock. So I just, my favorite subject in school was science. I always loved the sciences,
Hmm.
to get into as much as I could. I was on the debate team. I was, it was just that kind of thing. But friends in high school, I don't want to say I was like the center of the room or anything, but it
Right.
was, I was always, around people, and it made me. I'm very much a people person. I don't like being by myself. I think that's the biggest thing with COVID now, And with,
Yes, it is.
I guess I would say with CP in general, when I'm by myself, I think it affects me most.
Knowing you for a while now too, I would have to agree with you on that. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
very much a people person.
So what was, I mean, with COVID, I know dealing with CP is tough enough. And of course, Miss Shayna said, "My girl, Miss Lena Avalos, I'm so proud of you. You and Shayna talk all the time. She's on her CP group too."
Always, yes.
Yeah, I tell you what, Shayna is a rocking person, man. She's awesome. Um, how have you dealt with COVID and CP with COVID too on top of everything else? How's it gone for you?
Well, it's actually going pretty good. I'm not going out too much. I do get fresh air. Walk around my apartment with my mask on, and that's about it. My caregivers do my errands for me, so yep, making the best of it right now.
Yeah. Are there times where you go, man, I want to get out of here? Like it's just
Oh, definitely, yes,
you have those
absolutely.
moments where like I can't stay in one place any longer.
That's it.
I'm used to being home though. I mean, I get out and go places, but I mean, it didn't hit me, hard until probably the last couple of months. I can't, sit there and say I was like itching to get out. I think the weird thing for me was how much people didn't take COVID for real. It took them so long for,
Yeah,
to realize, man, this is a real thing. The mask is a real thing. The social
right.
distancing is a real thing.
Hmm.
So is it hard? I mean, are you still able to have people over, with social distancing and everything?
I am. Yes.
Cool.
Yes, I
Cool.
am.
Do
Yeah,
you get to go outside and get fresh air and try to,
I do. I
uh-huh.
do that quite a bit, actually, because if I didn't, I would be going crazy. You know, I really would.
I gotta ask you how, your house seems so quiet. Like, how do you prevent yourself from going stir crazy with this thing? I
You, for me, I'm self-sufficient in terms of keeping busy. It
hmm
doesn't bother me. I've always been like that.
hmm
So, and that's a good thing. I think I've learned that from my family growing up
Right.
too. Is it's just what it is.
I mean, are you a TV watcher? Do you watch TV a lot?
Yes, I do. I'm a TV watcher, Hallmark Channel, Prime Video, other things.
Yeah, I can't go wrong with the Hallmark Channel, especially
No,
around the holiday time. I love
yes,
Hallmark, but Hallmark Channel though is sappy. I mean, they always got the sappy movies that make you cry for 20 minutes.
yes.
But they got the Hallmark Channel and the Hallmark cards. I'm gonna tell you, I ain't nothing wrong with a little Hallmark. I can handle that. Let's see. Shayna's actually got a question. She said, "What are some things you've done to keep busy during COVID-19?"
Jeez. That's a good question. Well, I do lots of things. You know, keep busy cleaning my house, what I can do. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that, even though I know for most people that's crazy, but I do. And I listen to the radio a lot too, and word searches and adult coloring. I'm never bored.
That's one thing I love to do. I can relate to you on this coloring a picture. I
Yes,
I used to do it all the time when I was little, but I've gotten into but I like simple pictures. I don't like complicated ones, with a lot of stuff. I like teddy bears and animals and you
mhm,
know the picture with one or two things. I don't like, a bunch of things in the pictures.
exactly.
hmm
Yeah, I'm the same way. Not too
Nikki,
much
Nikki says,
busyness.
Nikki says, "Thanks for always supporting me, Lena." So you have a lot of people that talk to you and stay connected with you. I know RCP group on Fridays, RCP chat, you've been with us for a long time. Talk about, when you're around people like that, what does it do for you inside? How does it make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel very needed and very grateful that I have a group that we're in. When my mom died, you guys came to me. I didn't find you.
Right.
You just all fell in my lap.
Right. How has that helped you with coping?
It's helped me tremendously.
Awesome.
Really. And I believe my mom and God had a talk. And this is what my mom wanted me to do after the fact.
Yeah. And Dora said we watched everything, talking about, I guess, talking about the Hallmark Channel. She said y'all watched everything. Let's see. Shayna's got I got good questions coming in. Shayna said, what are your plans? What are your plans for when COVID-19 is over?
Well, one of my plans would be to see Endor and spend time with her and do something other than talk to each other on the phone or video chat.
Yeah. Now that's something that's actually helped me a lot, even though, COVID's been going on and we can't get out as much as we'd like to. The video, the conferencing and chatting and StreamYard and Zoom, that's helped me tremendously. Do you use that a lot?
Yes, it has really helped me a lot. I didn't know any of this existed, and gosh, what a eye-opener it's been for all of us, and it's been lots of fun.
Well, I mean, I think the virtual world has kind of exploded, and really it kind of had to, because people were going, oh God, all we can do is talk on the phone. All we can do is, we can't see each other. We can't go anywhere. We got to stay home.
That's right.
I think the virtual world kind of exploded. Now you actually had the chance I think it was to speak last year at the caregiver conference, right?
You mean at the CP conference?
I mean, excuse me, at the CP conference. How was that for you?
That was good. It was my first time, and actually, I'm going to be doing that again this year too.
Yeah, we've got the CP conference coming up in March. When I first met you, you were really shy. It was you were outgoing, but you've seemed to come out of your shell quite a bit, and you've kind of blossomed into the flower of talking and really getting the message out there, and I love that. How did that feel for you doing that for the first time? What was that experience like for you?
I've always had a sheltered life, to be honest, DJ. And so I didn't know any of this, Of course I knew just to be myself, but to speak and, to do what we're doing, I didn't know. And it took my mom's passing to see what Lena could do,
Right.
And Lena's doing it, and I'm having a blast, and I have a wonderful support system. I have the group, I have Endora, I have other people too. So
yeah, I think that's so awesome that you're able to, just open up and get your message across. Because I see the happiness inside of you that you've got, and it makes other people happy too when you can share it. Shayna said this. Shayna said, Miss Endora Browning is a great support to you. Let me get this pulled up here. Along with your caregiver, I'm so happy you have that amazing support. You were just talking about it. Now, you were talking about with me a little bit last week on the meeting that we had about your caregiver. I think you said her name was Kathy, right?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Kathy and how you guys met and how that has come about?
Well, Kathy and I met uh, when I first got my apartment. She was working for another uh, neighbor of mine at the time, and when she was off of work, she'd always come over to my place and ask me if I needed help of any sort until I got the paperwork to come through. And it was during that time that I met her. And when the paperwork finally came through, guess what? She landed with me. So it's been a cool ride ever since.
So how has having her as a caregiver helped you? In what ways do you help her, and in what ways does she help you?
Um, we talk quite openly about life in general, just about everything. She's like my best friend. You know, she gives me advice, I give her advice, and we just feed off each other. And she's family, you know, because now that my mom's gone, I don't have much family support of my own.
Right, right.
You know,
Mhm.
they're just not there, and that's okay.
So as a caregiver, let me ask you this. Needing you know what you need. What advice would you give somebody that's looking for, to find a caregiver for the first time? What's maybe something you could tell them in looking for a caregiver?
Well, I would tell them to just do your research, you know, check the agency that you're wanting to look at, or agencies that are available in your area, and just go from there. You know, it's kind of like a hit and miss situation. There are good caregivers, and then there are not so good caregivers. You just don't know. You just have to fill them out, you know?
I can understand that totally. That is, yeah, you've got to weed out the good apples with the bad ones. I can tell you.
That's right. And I've had plenty along the way too, you know.
Now, this may be a bit of a weird question. Let me actually read this comment that Miss Jenny wrote up here. Yes, I miss my friends and family so much. FaceTime is good, but so ready for the real people face to face. I think, you know, going back, we were talking about COVID. As much as people have been away from people, I think this makes people realize how important it is not to take that face to face time for granted. When you're with somebody and you're like, oh, I can go see them tomorrow. You start going, okay, now when COVID is over, everybody's going to be like, wanting to run and hug somebody, or just like,
Yeah, exactly.
I told one of the guests that I had a couple of weeks ago, when we're told to stay outside, all we want to do is go inside. When we're
Right.
told to stay inside, all we want to do is go outside. So
That's so true.
it, it's different. Now, one of the things, with my wife, she always helps me with like my shoes and stuff like that, shoes and socks. I've found that with most caregivers, or any caregiver really, communication is so key. Talking to
It
your
is.
caregiver about what works, what doesn't work, turn my foot this way, turn my foot that way. How did that go for you guys, when she was learning, what to help you with? What was it like?
It was like magic. She just stuck to me, you know. I didn't really have any problems with her. She knew what to do, you know, already. And that was great. And that's created a good close bond with each other.
Mm-hmm.
and I am so blessed and happy with her.
It's awesome that you found somebody. I love the analogy that you use. She sticks to me. That's just there are people in your life, and you're like, you've got your work people, and you've got your home people, and you've got your family people, and of course, some people in family just can really tick you off because they.
Yes.
Nothing you do is good enough, and it's like, okay, let's keep that family over there. But then there are those that you find that just you can complete each other's sentences, and it's not like it's a. Do you feel like it's not a job for her, that she just does it because she really wants to do it?
She really wants to do it. It's such a joy for her. Taking care of me is not a job, it's a joy for her. She loves me unconditionally.
And I think I can honestly say, hearing you say that, I believe that it takes a really special person to be a caregiver.
Yes, it does.
When it's not a job for you, it's a life experience, and you know that what you're doing is really helping the person out, and knowing that you're giving them a chance to be better with what they're doing.
Right.
So, like, had you had other caregivers before Kathy?
Honestly, no.
Wow.
No. She's been with me almost 7 years, and I wouldn't change the world for it.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's a long time for, and I don't know if people realize how remarkable that is for someone to see, because she knows what you want, she knows what you need. You don't have to tell her.
No,
it becomes second nature, and I think that's you don't feel awkward. I always wondered with caregivers, there's that phase where it's I'm gonna ask her to do this, but it's gonna be awkward. Oh God, I don't. But
yeah, now, exactly.
I remember the first time I had a Miss. I was talking about Miss Jenny earlier. She was my aide in school, and there wasn't. With her, there was not. It was never awkward. It was just it fit. When someone's in your life, not only through school, but they continue to, follow you and watch how you grow. Man, 7 years is remarkable.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't change it. She's the best. She's my cheerleader. Yeah. She helps me stand tall more like a giraffe than anything.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about that. Now, you have a, I believe you said that was something that your mom used to say to you, stand tall like a giraffe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That, I want to say just how amazing that the first time I heard that, I was like, I think you said it in one of the meetings, and I was like, holy cow, is that amazing? Because if you think about a giraffe and really how big a giraffe is,
right?
I mean, they've got to, they're huge animals, but they got to take those long necks, and they love a giraffe's favorite food is eucalyptus leaves. Actually, they love eucalyptus and different types of leaves and stuff like that. I think it's an amazing thing to stand tall like a giraffe, because it's just, they're so big and beautiful. They're beautiful animals.
They're beautiful animals.
Yeah. Miss Shayna says, that's great, Miss Lena. Caregivers like Miss Kathy is hard to come by. I sure know from experience. I've had so many. I can write a book about. I think I will. And then, let's see. Let me ask this. Okay, so Ben asked, how do you make sure you keep the job and friendship separate so they do not drop in, job performance and I believe you wanted to say change the comfort level. Wow, that's a great question.
Oh, that's a very good question.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because I would imagine that there, I mean, is there a level of difference, do you think, Lena?
I think there is a little bit, there are some things that Kathy and I have to keep separate, because I have another caregiver, but I'm not nearly as close to her as I am her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know, to draw the line with that person, you just kind of know.
Is that something you kind of had to figure out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you get to know that person, what you can do, what you can say, stuff like that.
So it's kind of like going through the, I don't know if I want to share that with that one. I would just,
Right. Exactly.
So it's more of, do you feel like it's more of a job for some to where it's, like some that really want to do it and some that's like, let me just get through to 5 o'clock. That's all,
Right. Because you can always tell in their demeanor, when they say that,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have to speak it, but their body language tells you,
That's so true. And something that we're talking about, and this kind of involves honesty. And I think if people, I guess for me, I realize I've got CP. I realize that I'm in a wheelchair most of my day, unless I'm in the bathroom or sleeping.
right.
And I think some people are just like, wow, go back to California for a minute. Wow, dude, you're in a chair that long. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But you get those people that are like, I'm going to help you put your coat on. And they do it, but it's like, did you really enjoy helping me put my coat on?
That's right.
They're just like, okay, I did that. Can we please move on to the next task? Oh my God, I have to touch this person. I'm gonna freak out. And then some of them, they just grab you and move you and bend you like Gumby, and you're like, ow, my arm doesn't bend that way.
Yep, that's it.
Let's see. I have never heard that saying until Miss Lena said it. It's so true. Well said, Shayna. That's okay. So Ben was actually just clarifying what he was talking about. He said, every time I'm a friend to mine, they go down in how good they do their job. It's got to be tough. And I'm gonna comment on this, and maybe Miss Lena can come in here too.
Okay.
I think with some people, there are job people, and then there are people that are not, I don't know if this is the right word, asphyxiated to their job, like stuck to it. I mean, everybody has rules that they have to follow.
Yes.
I'm sure Kathy has a job that she has to do, but I don't think she looks at it as that. Am I right?
That's right. And as a client, there's certain things that we have to do too that we can't go over the guidelines for.
And I know you have to fill out those stupid forms. Oh God,
Yes.
every week it's the same thing, and
Yes.
they ask the same question on a scale of 1 to 5. Please tell us how that. And I'm like, can I just Xerox this? Can I just go through and just mark? I mean, it's like that's like I think Social Security and social services asking, in the past year, has your condition changed? No, it hasn't.
In the hospital or something like that.
I love a person that can answer a question before, but will still let you get it out. Like, I don't want somebody to cut me off before I get the question out. But if I'm struggling, he or she can go, what he's trying to say is da 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 da, and I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, and Kathy does that for me too, because as you know, part of having to be is the speech part of it and getting words out and trying to say something, and that's what she does for me too.
So let me. Okay, so Miss Shana said that's true, Ben. That's why I had to let mines go. That's okay. I understand that. Hi, Miss Cindy. Cindy says I'm closer with more of the caregivers than others, and I can understand that too because here's the thing: a caregiver is with you, and it's more than just shoes and coats and dresses. Well, especially for ladies,
Yes.
it's more than shoes and coats and dresses. It's life. When your caregiver goes through it with you day by day, and your struggles, and they see the CP tightness, and they see, okay,
Yeah.
the right leg wants to jerk a little bit today, and the left leg doesn't want to move. They understand that, and some of them are just like, dear God, can I please just get the shoe on? I just want to,
Yeah, exactly.
it's they you don't have to, when you don't have to think about it, it makes it easier.
That's right.
When you've got a friend or a caregiver that can say, all right, it's 12 o'clock, time for lunch, 1 o'clock, time for lunch. Do you want this, or this? And you're like, man, you knew what I wanted already. I didn't even say anything. It just,
That's how we are.
So I love that. Josh said, hey, Josh, how are you, buddy? It really does help to click with the caregiver. That's so true. That's
It
so
does
true.
help. Really, it does.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Ben. And here's the thing: it's harder, it's easier said than done. What should I do? Be cool, but not too cool. LOL. And be more open. Yeah, I think it's, for some people, it's very difficult to have the job line and the lifeline.
Right.
It's
It is.
there's not a lot of people that can differentiate. Ooh, that's a big word, between the two, and say, okay, I'm going to be your friend, but also I need to get a job done too. Some people can't. Some people can't do that, and which brings me to my next question. Say, for instance, I'm glad I could actually ask this. Say, for instance, you have an issue that you need help with, and not saying that this would happen, but there's something that you need to talk to Kathy about. Can you just sit down and talk to her, right off the bat? Do you have to think about how you want it to come across, or is it just, boom, this is the issue?
It's boom. This is the issue.
Yeah.
She feeds right off of me. She knows every word that I'm saying, what I think when I don't even say it. She knows it.
See,
knows
that's how you know she fits.
Yes.
When you've got a person and you go, oh my God, you don't understand. She's going, oh my God, I do understand.
Yes, absolutely. And
yeah,
it's the most gratifying thing ever. We love working with each other.
yeah. How do you deal with frustration with CP? And I just want to see how you answer this question, because I know it's different for everybody. What's
It's
your
very hard for me, you know.
How so?
Because your body doesn't move when it wants to, the way you want it to, and that frustrates me, you know. Or I can do something that's just very slow, or I can't do it anymore. I need help.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to be able to do all this, you know, and now I need help.
Yeah.
So it's a big frustration, but it's okay.
Do you ever just go, oh, come on, can't you just work this one time? Like
Many times. Many times.
That's one definite thing I can relate to. And having you on the show, there's such a sweetness in you, and such a, you can see, like, what you've been through, to go through, hell and high water, and come back and be able to, fight for it. But then again, to say, look, this is what I need, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to go for. I think I think that's awesome. I think, to be able to do that and say, look, I'm not afraid to say I need help. I think so many people feel like they can't ask for help because it's more of a burden. And I
Right.
used to feel that way. I used to go through if I ask them for help, then they got to stop what they're doing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to do that too, but now we're in it. We're doing great, and we got everything going for me,
hmm I think that's awesome. Cindy said this: I like to tell people I have one speed, slow. Nikki's
That's
got a great
cute.
question. Nikki said, "How many years have you lived on your own?"
I lived on my own for 7 years.
Okay, so ever since you've been on your own, Kathy has been with you.
Yes, she has.
So let me ask you this: what was without trying to bring up too much emotion or anything, and whatever happens, I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah.
What was the transition like of having family everywhere and then boom, you're on your own? It's like what was that like?
Well, as you know, DJ, my mom passed, and it changed the whole dynamics of my whole life.
Yeah.
My family's not there for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And not in a way I think they should be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now
I understand that. Mm-hmm.
it's just friends like you in this TP group, and just that's my family now.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever have the point where you were going, was there a realization of, okay, I'm by myself? Did you go through the how am I going to do this type thing?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then I always have to stop and remember God.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
God.
and again, see, this is what I'm talking about. There's a realization that you go through as a person, and I think we all go through it, but we all go through it differently. We all have
Absolutely.
that frustration level. We all have that, okay, what am I going to do now level. But for you, it's just good to have that cinder block of this person's been here the entire time. And I think that you're awesome. I think that you're an awesome individual. I think that you've gone through, like I said, a lot, but I think that you're continuing to come out on top of it. What would you say your goals are for 2021?
My goals for 2021 is not to get over my head with things, that are offered to me. Just do what I can do, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go faster than what am I trying to say? Then my mind won't let me,
That makes a lot of sense. Don't take on more than you can handle.
Yeah, there you go. Thank
But
you. Yeah.
but also, don't stay inside the box either, because
Right.
I think because I know with you now, you started a blog, right?
I
You've got
have.
your blog.
Yes.
You've got your Facebook now. Are you on Instagram as well?
No, I'm not on Instagram.
Okay, that's a lot of fun. It's really easy to do. It's mostly a phone app, but it's a lot of fun more than anything else. I didn't think I was gonna like it. It took me 4 hours to set it up, but I did, and I kept going. So, what is your blog about?
I just not centered around anything. Just whatever I want to write about my day. What's a wisdom? A happy thought or something. Whatever I want to make it.
So when do you write on your blog usually?
I usually do it like once a week.
Okay.
Once a week. Yeah.
All right. So the last question that I have for you, and then of course I want to get oh, this is a good question. Hang on. Ben says this. What is the now I can't read the question. What, what is the hardest part of being on your own, and how do you overcome the hardest part of being on your own?
The hardest part for me was back then being separated from my family.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've always lived at home for 42 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now I'm 50, and it took me a while. The first year, I would say, was really the transition part for me, where I had to really be brave, and stand tall
Mm-hmm.
and say, I can do this. My family is not here with me. We have to learn things and do things. We can do it.
Did you say you're 50?
Yes, I am.
I thought you were 30 something. I would have never thought you were. Wow.
Yeah.
That and I hope you can understand where I'm coming from when I said that. That's amazing. I know people that are 50 that look 70, and I know people. See, my grandmother, she never aged. She was like 60. When my grandmother was 63, you would have looked at my grandmother and went, "You're 40."
Yeah.
I would have never thought you were 50. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
See, I show my age. 39 is 39. That's where it is.
Yeah.
I think you've done a great job. I think you've done an awesome job. I think you've inspired people. I think you've done well for yourself. The last question I've got for you, you do not look 50. I thought 35. Wow. Yeah, that's.
Oh, thank you.
So Ben thought the same thing. So I want to ask you this. If you had a chance to go back in time and talk to the Lena that was younger and the Lena that went through all the crap and the hard stuff that she went through, what do you think you would say to her now, being that you've gone through all of this?
I would still say what my mom has instilled with me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up. Keep going. Be brave. This is all I've known. So, yeah.
So, I see that smile and what keeps you happy. I'm so proud of that. How can we reach you on social media, Lena?
You can reach me at my blog at Lena Avalos at Wix.com or Lena Avalos on Facebook.
Okay. So what is one thing that you would like to accomplish that you've not really thought about? Like, have you ever thought about writing a book, or have you ever thought about you know uh, um, starting I don't know, what's something that you would like maybe to do that you haven't thought about?
Well, actually, I've been thinking about being a counselor.
Wow, that is something that people need. What type of counselor would you want to be?
Just I don't know what to call it. Just to be there if someone needs to talk.
So kind of like a grief counselor?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What made you think about that?
I've always been good with words, and people always tell me that I give good advice, that I know what they're going through, because I too have gone through it.
I love that you said that. I know what they're going through because I too have gone through it. That is so important. A lot of
Yes.
people will say, I understand something. when they don't really, because they may be empathetic, but they haven't gone through it. And that's
Right.
something that's so important. That's
Yes.
so well said, Miss Lena. Man, this hour's gone by so fast. I told you it was going to go.
Already?
Yeah,
Wow.
I told you it was going to go. We get talking, and there you are. I'm going to have you on again. I'm actually booked up all the way through March.
Okay.
But I'm going to have you on again. This was very eye-opening. I'm very, very happy that you opened up with us and came on and shared on Let Go Radio and on StreamYard and on Facebook. This is just so awesome that you've gone through. Good idea, life coach. Ben said a life coach. That's an awesome thing. Yeah. Have you thought about going to school for it? I mean, just maybe getting.
I thought about doing some online classes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause-
And you could take one at a time and handle it that way. You could, I mean, you've shown me that you can do anything you want. You just have to set your mind to it. And like you said, I think people a lot of times will either not take on enough or take on too much because they question their self. And it's okay to ask questions, but
absolutely.
You know what? Come up with the answers and figure out what you want to do. Don't just stay in one spot and say, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't be part of this. This is just too much for me." Do what you want to do, but you got to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you very much, Miss Lena, for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Man, I love this very much, guys.
I do too.
Yeah, Miss Shana said, "That's right. I got your back, Miss Lena. You go for it." You guys can reach me on Facebook at DJ Carter. You can reach me on YouTube at 3 different YouTubes: Chairmaster Games, Worth the Wait Cooking with DJ Carter, and My CP Does Not Define Me. You can reach me on Instagram at My CP Does Not Define Me. You can reach me on my blog at CarterDJ85 at wix.com/mysite1. And you can reach me at Yahoo on the Sports Minion Radio Show at yahoo.com. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, please email me at CarterDJ85 at gmail.com. And as I always say before we play the outro and before we go home, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. Please tune in next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're going to have a great show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I love you guys to death. As I said, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a rollaway saying we'll see you next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. But don't worry, you can catch us again next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on www.letgoradio.net and on Facebook and YouTube at My CP Does Not Define Me. Remember, I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. And if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.